It's currently April 24th, 2021, 7:14 p.m. And yeah, it doesn't look like 7:14, it looks like 2:14, but yeah, spring's weird. Trying to think of a spot that wouldn't be so loud as that, so I'm gonna turn around and walk away from the road for once. That would be a novel concept. It's funny, it's always quiet right before I start filming. That's got to be some sort of a sign. I don't know. Let's see. This week's gone pretty weird recently. As often happens, I wasn't able to hang out with Jenna today because, you know, crazy parents. But crazy, I mean, like stereotype white parents, you know, because if you'll look at my appearance, I'm a white guy with long hair who wears black more than ever, so quite the stereotype there. On his motorcycle at that point, a motorcycle, a lot of really bad tattoos. Let's see, what was I gonna talk about other than that? Yeah, just working on online school stuff. I'll be 18 in 5 days. Well, 4.5, whatever. It's the 24th right now, so it'll be the 29th. So 4.5, 5 days, which is weird to say, you know? It's a weird thought to actually say, I'm going to be 18 in 5 days. Like, I don't, it just seems odd. I don't know. Having spent so long up until this point being, you know, legally considered a little kid, you know, like basically property, it's so weird that I'm finally being thrust into I'm going to be thrust into that world of having to pretend like I know what I'm doing, you know, adulthood. So that'll be weird. Need to start working double time on that book in that case, you know, have some actual money to spend, you know. Get a crappy little apartment for a few months. It's really nice actually. That's weird. Yeah, I'm just under here in a little tree canopy. So I thought that was kind of an interesting background and not super loud. Like I've got a couple trees in front of me, so maybe that's blocking a little bit of the road noise. Yeah, I'm gonna step a little bit further back. I need to put like a chair back here. That'd be nice actually, like a little plastic lawn chair. Here's some like tarps to block the sound. Anyway, future video logs setup aside, yeah, that's a word people don't use anymore. Vlog. That was a really big word, you know, early 2010s. Like everyone was doing a vlog where they're acting all cringy on camera. Some of them did like every day. Like that's a bit much. You've probably noticed I don't do these every day because I don't always have something to talk about every day. So I guess I'll just elaborate a little bit more on my general thoughts about the whole year so far. It's been weird. If you haven't picked up from the previous videos, it's been pretty weird. This whole year of, yeah, over a year now of quarantine and having to wear masks everywhere and not being able to hang out with people. Little anecdote there that I've probably expressed before, but in this year and a month and change quarantine so far, I've made a lot of really not great realizations. Chief among them, I'm not as developed of a person as I thought I was. Like I was really good at, I'll just say it, I was really good at bullshitting myself. Like I was always decent at bullshitting other people, but I started doing it to myself pretty well. I had myself believing I was actually past certain issues, but then we all had to lock ourselves inside for a year, and I realized, oh wait, I'm actually not. I'm developed that funny guy facade that got me so much attention in elementary school that I felt I was lacking at home, and I never stopped doing that. Like I just kept going, being the funny one, to get that kind of public approval. Kind of interesting to take a step back and realize the actual source for things like that. Um, I don't have any degree in psychology or anything, but I figure, with how my parents were when I was a kid, had a stay-at-home mom who was kind of distant, I guess, and dad was always at work, always gone from the house at 5 in the morning. So I figure I felt like I wasn't getting a lot of attention at home, so that's why I started doing the whole funny guy persona. Even when I did get attention at home, I'll just go ahead and say it, I was not the favorite child. These days we don't like to talk about the concept of favorite children, but it happens. The first child is very often the favorite child. In some cases, even after that favorite child does some terrible things, in some cases, they remain the favorite, which is kind of weird. Um, yeah, I don't know. Alright, yeah, point being, since I wasn't the favorite child, I often got told off for trying to talk about issues that I was having. So that was anything but productive. So, yeah, I don't know. Like, I've thought about it in recent years, and I can't get what the attraction there was, like, what the fun there was there to torment a 5-year-old kid. Like, okay, might have seemed like pranks from, the teenager perspective, but as a little 5-year-old, I didn't know what pranks were. It just felt kind of like abuse. So that wasn't fun. Kind of interesting long-term effects of that have yet to really be discovered. Then I try and talk about it all these years later, but since the instigator was the favorite child, I still get, told that it doesn't really matter. I think part of that problem is mom is like, let's see, she's 63 right now. So for someone who's in their mid 60s, a decade isn't very long. But for someone who's, 17, 18, a decade is more than half their entire life. So for me, a decade ago was a lot more recently than it was for someone who's 60. So that's part of the issue, I guess, in that mom doesn't understand that my childhood was a lot more recently than, like, I'll put it in perspective like this. Mom was born in October of 1956, and I was born in spring of 2003. That's a pretty big difference comparing the, mid 60s when she was growing up to the mid 2000s. Barely anything was the same. Like, conceptually, maybe, like, people still had cars and television sets, but so little was the same as it is, like, that's a massive difference, That's a 35, 40 years of difference-ish. Well, 41 years, exactly, that's funny. But yeah, it's weird trying to relate to older parents. I guess a dad's fine, because he's actually tried to keep up with the trends since he's retired, which is, kind of a relief to have one parent that has any clue whatsoever of what I'm actually interested in. So I guess that's a relief, but I don't know. So even just with like my friends and stuff, I can't really relate because my parents are so much older by comparison. Like once when I was a kid, this is one of the few times I can recall, we were at the elementary school playground, like on a Saturday or whatever, just because open playground. And there's this other kid there, and as kids often do, we started talking. Never seen each other before, but we just started talking. And for some reason, the conversation went from like favorite cartoon to this. I don't even know where the conversation went, but then after a while, this kid looks at me and he goes, "Hey, how old's your grandpa?" And he was pointing at my dad, which is kind of funny because I guess his 5-year-old assumption was every older white guy with gray hair has to be a grandfather. Not there's no way that your direct parent could have gray hair while you yourself are 5 years old. So that's one of had to have been dozens of examples of that. But yeah, I'm really interested to see what happens, in the future, and it'll be fun to compare and contrast when I was growing up with when used guises were you singular or you plural, I don't know. I'm just in the past here. I don't know the situation that hasn't happened yet. So And if I ever say you, I'll start saying you instead of trying to say singular plural, because I don't know. I could be, hilariously misinterpreting. So I'll just keep it to the general of you, whichever individual is watching this video. You know, keep things simple that way. Um, well, anyway, I've gotten to that kind of rambly stage, so I'm gonna, sign off, and Dad and I are gonna go watch Avengers Endgame on Disney Plus. We've watched the other numerous Avengers movies the past couple days, so that'll be fun. Um, but yeah, anyway, as always, I'll see you in the future.